So, good evening to all of you.
Good evening, ma'am.
Can we start? Are we good to go?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so today actually the session will be on project-centric learning. So the entire focus will be that there will be two agenda of this. One is that how you can apply your
MP
learning,
has got the link. Yes, sir.
how you can apply the learning to a real-time application, right? I'll give you some example, and by today or by tomorrow, depending on if I get time, I will be sending a file, a certain project idea related to whatever course you're doing. And you can work on those idea and develop. But those are applications of what you're learning, right? And the second agenda is that how you can come up with an innovative idea which can be patented and which you can have a copyright on that. So those people, for learning purpose, you can work on the already present ideas, which are their project ideas. And for other purpose, you can just go ahead and do an innovative project. So both you can do it. You can take mentors and you can project. Now, but how to go about this project? We always have an idea that, I should do about this. When I teach management to my students sometime, and we basically use the project centric learning where we ask students to come up with a new business idea. Today also some of the students came to me and they said that, ma'am, can this be a new idea? Can that be a new idea? The thing is that today we are living in the world of information where everything you can check whether the idea is innovative or not. But most of the time we check through Google and find out. So I'm going to focus on today that how, and basically this is for both the students and the mentors, the trainers. I'm sorry, maybe I might be giving you some idea and you might be using it. So I'm not saying that you're not using, but just I thought that I can just put my experience that if you have applied learning and if you, whatever concept you're learning, if you can apply, so the best is don't jump directly into a new idea and try to develop. Before that, try to develop already developed some project. So I'm going to divide the session into two parts. One session is where all of you who are doing any course on Python, AWS, cloud computing, or it's a cybersecurity, web development, how you can use the already available idea and do a project at the end. So my suggestion is that this is what we do, or I do in my classes, that I divide the students into groups, and the student can make a choice. They can have their own group because if they are comfortable, otherwise you can create a group, and then you can give them one project, let them do that project which is for which the information is already available. They can do one project, two project, three project, four project, or what, real time application. So application based learning in the form of project. And then after that, let them then also in the process come up with an idea and generate an innovative idea. So sometimes it may happen that while doing the project, they may get an idea. And let me tell you, the students' idea is not something that great people only get. Anybody can get an idea. I'll tell you that India is actually a land of frugal innovation. Frugal innovation means doing more with less. We don't have funds, right? One of the major thing is that we have ideas, but we don't have funds. So how do we do it? So frugal innovation talks about that the funds or the money doesn't stop you. There are a number of examples of that. In Gujarat, when earthquake happened, everybody lost their house, everybody lost all the properties. So now the rich people could at least have some money in the bank and they can recover. What about the lower middle class? How can they build their house? How can they bring all the furnitures? So Mansukh Bhai, he has no education, no learning like you. He was a person who came up with an idea and he said that, should I make a kind of equipment, something not equipment in the form of electronics, but he thought of coming out with an idea to make a refrigerator, because refrigerator is a need. It's not a luxurious item. The earthquake has damaged the refrigerator. They said that everybody need refrigerator, but the refrigerator which are available by LG, Samsung are very expensive, and also it consume electricity, so you have to pay. Why not make a refrigerator for poor people from the clay? So he came up with no education, no experience, no scientific research of opportunity available to him. What did he do? He came up with this idea to make a refrigerator out of clay, and he named it Mitti Cool. And believe me, he got the best award for that as innovation. And today's company is really doing well. Everybody wants. So you want, you can just go and head in the YouTube and sometime watch Mitti Clay. So now when he was doing this research, he has first the idea. Idea came always, students, from the problem which is surrounding us. Don't look anywhere. Don't go and talk to people. See the problem which is affecting you in your area, the problem which is affecting you, your society, your family, and come up with a solution. And that solution can, because you are an IT students, can it be developed through technology? What are the technological tools you can use to develop a solution for that? So the first thing starts with an idea. An idea comes not from heaven or the god give you blessing or great people think idea. The idea can come from the problem you're facing, the problem surrounding you, and then you come up with that. So almost, I think most of you might have watched that movie of Akshay Kumar, Padman. He was an illiterate person, no knowledge, nothing and all. He tried, tested so many things. Ultimately, he failed to make a sanitary napkin. And somehow he went to so many people, and somehow he wanted, his main objective was to make the sanitary napkin available for the rural or for the low disposable income women at a very very low cost, and help them to maintain a woman or a health hygiene and save them from several disease. And he succeeded in the end. So idea will result into a lot of failure, students. Our last the ex president, Abdul Kalam, he failed. So though he's called mission man, but none of his rocket or a rocket man actually could reach to any of the planet or any of the stars also, if you say. Nothing, nowhere it went. So, but he didn't give up. He always said, fail means first attempt in learning. So you will do a lot of trial and error method and then come up. So let me, without wasting time, I'm going to now share you with some ideas, not ideas, but about how do you do projects in IT. Especially, I try to focus. I'll show you some example how my students do. Some example, they are not technical. They're all management students. But normally when it's a collaboratory, interdisciplinary approach, what a person should have. So one of your friend may have idea, but he's not it from engineering IT background. You can take his idea, work with him, and develop a technology solution for that. So I'll show you some example of that how innovative their ideas were, and can we go ahead and patent that idea or not. So I'm going to talk about this. Let's start now. If you have a question, you can put in the chat box. Yeah, so can you see the screen, students? So today our topic is basically project-centric learning. I got actually some good, project after we discussed about it from one of the group, and it was a wonderful project. And I already discussed with my, university patent team, and they said that these are the things anyway that we will discuss it later with those people. That these are the things that they can work on, and it can be a wonderful idea to solve so much of problems, so many. So I don't want to discuss that in front of you, because every idea, novel idea, should be first developed into a solution, and then only it should be published, not before that. Okay. So we are going to talk about project centric learning. how using project-centric learning do this. Now, most of you are doing various courses. Some of you are doing Python, some of you are doing AWS, cybersecurity, web development, so and so. Very good, wonderful. What this course is going to do, this is going to build concept. You're going to attend through in the class, you're going to attend. So course is going to result into concept attainment. That means you understand the concept. You understand that this part, this particular topic of the course is this. And ultimately comes is the application. Now, what happens? Application in your course comes in the form of practicals, where you sit in the computer and try to do that Python coding or whatever coding and do something. But the project is not this. Most of us have an idea that project is all about, practically in practical class, finding or using that concept and understanding. That is only just to understand. The practical is to understand the concept. Then what is project? Project is a systematic approach to solve a particular problem. It can be a novel idea or it can be already used idea, some modification you can do. Like how company comes up with new ideas and try to solve your problems, right? So it should be very systematic and very much planned and well researched. Well, research is very important in this. Now let's take one example. I'm not giving because all of you are different courses. So I'll take some very common example with a layman language. That let's say that you are studying in science, all of you have studied about photosynthetic or about plant botany or the biology part, where you study about plant. Okay, this is how the plant grow. Plant is a living thing and the plant basically need water. How do you grow a plant? How do a particular plant, can you all see the screen?
Yes, ma'am, we can see.
So how does a plant basically, so this is what you learned in the school, college or school. In a particular course, they will teach you, okay, what are the different kinds of species of plant, how they grow, what is the photosynthesis, what you can do to maintain a good plant health, everything like that. I'm just giving one example. But that, so you've learned a theory, what is photosynthesis, you saw in the video, or practically maybe you might have done the soil testing, seed testing, water testing, all those kinds of things you have done. That is practical. But is that a project? No, this is not project. Project is going beyond that and building something which is either present, modifying it in the form of a new form. Because you see that Thomas Alva Edison has invented what? Bulb. Are we using the same bulb what Thomas Alva Edison has invented? No. He floated a company called GE, General Electric, which is one of the biggest company now. And they started with electrical appliances, first electric bulbs. Now today, if you see the Thomas Alva Edison bulb, is changed and modified into several. There are several companies who have come, who have said that, okay, Thomas Alva Edison bulb is using a vacuum tube technology. Let's come with some electric circuit. Let's come with that same way that like how the computer has advanced. And it will keep on modifying. So a one person will invent, other person will come and modify that, depending on several factors which can make it feasible to work. They understand what is market need. Okay, fine. This is a particular problem in this particular product. All of you like Apple products. I'm a big fan of Apple product. I also like what Apple does. They are not innovators. What they do is the Steve Jobs used to take any product in the market and study that product weakness. For example, when Sony came up with Walkman, and the story was that, and again, it came from the problem. So, Sony founder who was traveling with his granddaughter in a train, and the granddaughter was getting bored. She said, oh, I'm getting bored. I wish I could listen to the music. I could have my music system. Then the Sony founder started thinking, yes, this is a problem, how to pass time when you are traveling. Can we have portable music system? And he came up with Walkman. Now what Apple did, Apple saw, okay, Walkman is a portable music system, but there's a weakness of Walkman that you have to carry the cassettes with you, and it is a huge space, you have to use that. Why not have a device which is again a portable musical device only, but what it is going to do, it is going to store the music in it, you don't have to carry this. So like this, the innovation cannot always be novel, it can always be in the form of modification of the existing product, or maybe altogether a novel or a new idea. So now when I'm giving this example, so you might have learned all these things in your book theory, done some practical on your plant or botany students have done. But what is the project here? The project is to make the student think, reflect. That's what when I was talking, to your MD and director, I said that I want students to reflect. I want students to come out with their own ideas and develop in the real world application. So your project can, in this particular scenario, can be, can music affect plant growth? And there are a lot of research on this. And it suggests that it affects the plant growth. Right. And then if you've seen the movie Tare Zameen Ke, once the Amir Khan told somebody that, you know what, that there is a culture in one of the particular, town or a city in a world where if they want a plant, they don't cut the plant. They feel that it is, sin to cut the plant. So they want the plant, they have to remove the plant. So they want the plant to die. So what they do is they go every day to the plant and keep on abusing the plant, give all bad names to the plant. And after a few days, the plant themselves die. That means the plant is listening. How do you prove? How do you make that? How do you can come out with a solution where you can convert that conversation of the plant into a English language or some language which you can understand. Okay, plant is communicating to the other plant. How the sunflower move toward and look at the sun? What is thing? All these are research, and they came out with solution for that. Can plant conduct electricity? Can we generate? Does caffeine affect plant growth? These are some example of project which we can do from a simple learning. So the learning is about photosynthesis, how you can make put good manure, how do you analyze the seed, this would be taught to you. But then when you come with a project, you can do all these interesting things. And you never know, this becomes a business for you. And this research paper is going to help you in, and when it is published, there will be so many companies who will come after you and say, yes, you have done a research, you have done a publication, why don't you come? See, artificial intelligence was first coined by, I forgot his name. Okay. One was Alan Turing, because of that, his name came up, McCarthy, John McCarthy. You know how it came? That time, even computer was also not so famous. He was doing a research paper, one of the professor, in one of the conference in US, and he said one question to everybody. Can machine think? Can computer think? And he gave this triggering, and everybody started working on that. Can we make a machine which can think? And then the machine learning and all these development, AI came up into the function. So this is what is the project. So that means what? The project means you apply what you have learned into real-time application. Okay. So this is the project. So project, again, as I told, now what is a live project for IT people to develop into real-time applications? So I'll show you one video also, that when it comes to projects, normally all IT companies do project only. They have teams, project teams. Every project team will get one company as a client, and they may develop, for example, there's a merger of the two banks, and they have to develop some solution, banking solution. So the IT company will be hired and they develop that solution. So that's one project for them. And in IT company, a person normally is recognized from the type of the project they have done, right? Whatever technology you are using. So one technology is not enough. You might be very good in Python, but then they might like you to do some maybe .NET, or you should be good in PHP. You should also know Java or Lambda or something like that. And they want you to say, and they will give you that course to develop yourself. And once you develop that, Then they will say, okay, fine, why don't you use that and develop this? So that's nothing but project. So you're using your coding skills, your technical skills, and developing that solution which client want you to develop. And the team come together and do. And it happens always in team, not in isolation. Okay. So the first thing in the IT project is, which is the best technology to develop? First, you have to identify a problem. Which is the best technology to choose to develop this? Is that particular technology is going to take care of all the aspect, or do you want to have a multiple mixture of the technology? Like, for example, you can have a Java, for example, e-commerce site you're developing. So you need to have a Java, no, HTML coding. At the same time, you need to have little bit understanding of cloud computing with servers and all these things. Cyber security knowledge also you need to know. So you need to know that what kind of aspect, all aspect of the project is covered with one technology, or you require several technology to do that. For example, if you want to develop some kind of a, let's say, autonomous car, then you need IoT also. You need AI also in machine learning, right? And you need to do the coding also. You need camera, imaging technology, computer vision, all these technology you need to inbuild that solution to make a autonomous driver. Okay. So what? So first thing is, when you identify the problem in an IT project, you have to identify what technologies are is going to cover all the aspect of the project, right? And what are the solution of that particular problem. And so this is what is the IT normal in short. So when we talk about IT project basically mostly deal with IT infrastructure development, or using computers. So it can be a web development, it can be a software application program, it can be a mobile app, it can be a network configuration, it can be a hardware installation, database management system, emergency recovering system. So it all IT project cater to the need of business company come and give the project and say, I have this problem. For example, in Chennai, when tsunami has come, a lot of people lost their life, lot of property were damaged. Then the government, thought that can we have a solution, IT solution, which can actually give us a warning in advance that there is a kind of a tsunami or something, because it's going to keep on happening, a natural disaster. Now, in traditional method is, from the satellite, they take the picture, the weather forecasting is done, but those are not very appropriate. So they hired IBM, and IBM set up their device, took that project. They used the data analytics and they used several other information. For that, they did research. They found out from those local fishermen who also have a knowledge that, okay, a bird is flying, that means there can be something happening. Or if this is the condition of the weather, it is changing, there must be after a few days some kind of a natural disaster may come. So all these information they gathered, they did research, they found out similar kind of things happening anywhere. They collected those data sets and analyzed and came up with a forecasting, a disaster natural forecasting, and what kind of damage will it do. If it is this kind of tsunami, what damage it will do. They can't come out with solution because that the government has to decide. So this is how the company come out with solution. After, in companies, the other company or the government come to you and say, I have this problem, develop solution. Then that problem is already given to you. You identify the solution and identify the technology which you'll be using to develop those solutions. Okay. So let me see, somebody's put something in the chat. Okay, fine. So IT project is basically called IT project management, and it's a process of planning, organizing, and using the right kind of technology to achieve the goal, to find out the solutions. Okay. Then you do testing, and then you implement it. Then you have, you will run it for some time, test run on the server, and then you do actually implement it after doing the test run. So many things involved in that. So there is a, life cycle of that. So how does a IT project management start? What are the stages of that? This model is called we use different model. This is a waterfall methodology. It's a linear process. So it has, if you can see, it has 5 stages. The initial stage is that if you are doing on your own, suppose you are identifying a problem. If some client is coming up with a problem, okay. But you are coming up with a problem, then that's called an initiation phase, where a problem is defined. Let's say a company comes to you and say that, you know what, let's say I'll take education on the example, that I want a system, and this I'm giving a real example. So where we wanted to, the attendance which are taken was manual. Now, manually, you take a register, you have a name of the students, you call the name and put ticks. And then in the end of the month, you calculate, do the percentage manually. Then came the system of attendance recording on thing. So we, because it's not IT companies will develop solution, we approached a third party, like which we call SaaS, software as services, and this third party developed. We told our requirement to them and problem. We said that we want to track the attendance at the same time, because the attendance, the problem is that the attendance is very low, and we want the parents to, because what is happening is manually when we are calculating attendance and in the end of the month, then we are telling the parents, we want every day the parents should be informed, every day every class parent should know whether my child is present in the class or not, they can track, right? So as soon as the teacher takes the attendance, the parents get an SMS that your child, suppose they are absent, only when they are absent, your child, so and so child, okay, like, sorry, Vaishali, so he is absent in today's 8:30 to 9 o'clock class for this particular subject. So the parents know about it. So it's like tracking. And then the second thing we wanted, we told the company, we told them, they said, we have, one Mount Carmel, St. Joseph, one particular attendance system developed. We can give it to you. We said, no, we want customized. We want this thing to done. First is that it should send SMS on a real time basis. Secondly, it should calculate attendance percentage everyday basis. It should also enable the student to see what is their percentage. If it is less, how can they cope up so that they get the hall ticket. At the end, we should use our analytic tools to analyze that who are the students who are continuously absent and what to do with that. So this was a very simple IT solution. And now the thing is, so what they did, they developed this a web application, and they gave us the attendance module. So through, and they put it on the cloud computing because it has to be available. Then there is a hardware device in the form of tab, which was given to the teachers. Teachers will log because it's very confidential, again, attendance data, and then take the name, call the name, and as soon as they save the attendance, it gets saved. And it is not saving on the tab, it is saving on the server in the centralized database. And nobody can access, nobody can modify, nobody can do anything there. Security is there. So cloud computing is used, web development tools were used. Then they use the data analytics tool to analyze the data. They use the communication technology to send SMS, right? All these things were used. So that was first thing is identify the problem, what is the need, and access also the viability of product. When you're doing, I will show you how to access the market, whether you're thinking that I should come up with something, but your market is ready for that or not. There are many products which is launched in the market but failed because nobody had a need for this. So you have to do a need assessment, market assessment, whether your market is ready for that product. You have great idea, you think it is great, but do you, are the customer willing to buy that? How will you develop the idea? It is very novel, good, great, but ultimately it is the customer. You have to market, need, you have to analyze. If they are ready, if they want your product, if they need your product, then only you should develop. Otherwise, don't waste your time. Then comes the planning phase. Let's say you have done all these opportunity assessment. What is a market assessment? What is a gap for the existing product and your new product, your novel idea? Then you come to you say that my product will do well, it will sell well. Then you come up with the planning phase. Then you think about how much money I require before starting any project. Do I need project or money, fund? Who's my funding body? What is the risk involved? What if I've put so much of effort and somebody investing, and if it doesn't, I am not able to develop. So risk assessment. And when should I do? Create a goal. What are the phases of the the stages of the project management? You can track the project using various tools. Gantt chart is there. So many things are there. So you can say, okay, I have to finish my project in 3 months. So you have to put the deadline for every stage of your project. Then execution plan. In execution plan, you have to think. For example, you're doing in the team. So who's going to supposed to do what? What kind of coding they are going to develop? Then you're going to proceed. So delegate task among your team members. Tell them that, okay, this part of the project you are going to do. And that's how even the IT company works. They give one part of the project to one particular member of the team, the other member, and sometimes it happens that your part will not start until and unless the other person has not finished the part. So subsequently, you have to do that. And your communication within the team member should be very great. That okay, I find I'm in this stage. What is your status? So you can have these Gantt chart to track and monitor everybody's progress, monitor and controlling phase. Then you should have some mentors, or you should monitor. If somebody is not paying attention, somebody is not doing it properly, you have to make sure that the project ultimately, because it's a group project, you can use a lot of software. Smartsheet is also one of the very good software application, not software application, which is available. You can track your project, you can put your project in that, you can track it, and that can be shown but to everybody, and they can see, okay, fine, I am lagging, let me finish my thing. And then is a closure, when your entire product or service what you're developing is developed, your project is done, you are in the last stage. So at that time, you might look into back and see that, oh, I planned this. I planned 10 things to be included in this product or app, but only 8 thing was possible. Why it was not possible? And then you test them, which is called product prototype. When we come out with a new product, or in the service also, you test run it. And then you see limited clients, limited employees will test it, run it. You see whether it is working according to and it is meeting the expectation of the client or not, or is it solving the problem what you're said or not. And after that, if there is a change is required, do it. And then once it is fully ready, test it, then you go for a launch of that particular services or marketing of that particular service. So it's very collaborative efforts. Everything is very collaborative. So in IT companies, you have a IT project manager, and then you have a team. The project manager and the team decide on budget, they identify the risk, they plan on executions, that who's going to do what. They also monitor the project manager on a real time basis using some kind of tracking tools. And at the end, when the project is concluded or completed, they run it, they do the prototype, they test it, and afterwards, they find out whether the project was successful or not. Okay. Now, there are a lot of challenges in IT project management. One is the first one is called time and budget. It's very important that you should dedicate that time which is required to develop that project, and you should have a budget. Okay. And the second, and budget means that sometimes it happens that you have great ideas, but you don't have funds. So, whatever is available, you have to do with that. So, are you, for example, you are developing technology solution, okay, you have software or developing tools, but you don't have hardware to develop that particular program, like sensors or something. You don't have money to do that. So you have to, that phase is there, right? So, and the second one is called the scope. Okay. So the scope of the thing is that what is the goal of the project? So the original goal of the project is a solution of some problem, should not get overshadowed if the stakeholder continue to add new things. For example, you're doing project for some company, your client. Your client say, I want this. Let's say I told you that we told one company that develop a attendance tracking system and communication. And they started developing a coding and they started developing the application for that. Then slowly we went to them and we said, can you do this also? Can you add this also? So your stakeholder should not keep on adding requirement and delivery. All these should be Finished. When you're planning stage itself and designing stage itself, all the requirement, what you want to do, what are the solution you want to decide, everything should be designed properly. So 3-tier approach is also there, which I can talk later, not now today. Is a lot of things are there for today. So that is called the scope. Okay. For example, let's say your company initial project goal was to improve the outdoor Wi-Fi at your company uh, headquarters. So the employees or the visitors can work from anywhere. Now, during the project execution, your stakeholder asks you to expand the outdoor Wi-Fi and make it reach to the operational center also in the street, maybe 3-4 kilometers, 2 kilometers available. And Wi-Fi should be, the strength of the Wi-Fi should be such that it give the download capabilities. Now the IT project management can give you a clear objective at the start that we want only the outdoor Wi-Fi so that people can use it. But when stakeholder comes and you start developing solution, they come and add something to it. So you have to be very careful that you can't accomplish this because you've already started working on this. So you have to actually understand whether it is possible to extend, in this case, the outdoor Wi-Fi to reach the particular distance and do that particular things or not. If it is not possible, you can take it in the second phase of the project. So the first phase of the product is always the initial idea you should develop and don't divert from that. The next thing is called miscommunication. The IT project managers or the team members, departments, stakeholders, always there is a challenge that there is a miscommunication. The stakeholder will say, I asked you this, what did you give me? The team member said, my manager told me to do this, but I didn't. Your group member will have a conflict saying that you didn't tell me this. You didn't say that when I have to start and when I have to, you didn't give me a deadline. So everybody should be informed about what is happening. So all those kinds of things is very, very important. Okay. Now the next one is called risk management. So managing a risk of an information technology project is a very important step in the initial phase. You must come up with an alternative plan if suppose it doesn't work. This particular technology or I am getting fund from somewhere or particular hardware fails to give you that output. So how do you manage? So you should always have an alternative plan. Okay. For example, your team is creating an online scheduling portal for some hospital patients. So you have to just create a portal where you have to schedule the patient where they can come and they can book the appointment. And you predict that everything is going smooth, everything is fine. You feel that, oh, I have this technology, I'm going to use this, I'm going to use that, I'm going to drive that. This is how it is going to, once the patient book, it will go to the particular doctor which they have booked. It will book the time slot, a doctor will know. All these things are very good. But suddenly after you complete your project, you're very happy. And suddenly you are shocked when a bug comes in the program. Okay. And the bug does this where a heart patient with a cardiac problem is assigned a gynecologist. Because a person comes with a heart problem, the solution should find out all the, like Practo does. Like when you go and say, I have a gastroenterologist problem, it should list all the gastroenterologists in your area with all the details. But if you are writing, I have a digestive issue and they give you heart specialist, so these are the system is in bug. The system is not working properly. Right? Neuro patient is assigned urologist. So what's the solution? With the proper risk management, a plan should be found quickly and effectively to resolve the bug. Fixing of the bug also means reassessing and identifying this kind of risk in advance. And that's a very essential part of IT project. So whenever you are doing a small or a big project, you will always have a risk. So always have a alternative plan. Don't be so rigid. Then is the changing technology. Today we are working with one technology, tomorrow it will become outdated. Right? Maybe your project will finish in months or in a year. By that time, that technology and world has moved to the advanced technology. So keeping up with the transformation in the technology in the projects is something very challenging, right? So, for example, your team takes a long time. You have to finish your project in 3 months. You took 5 months. and your project is to improve, let's say, GPS system in the car. While you're working on this project, the GPS phone app come out allowing the driver, you are actually, there's no GPS system available. You are developing, a car manufacturer come to you and say, can you develop a GPS system so that a person can track the roads and using that in this? And you say, okay, your project took a little longer. By that time, some company already launched a GPS app like Google Maps or something. And they let the driver see the real-time traffic on their mobile app. Your GPS system does not include traffic. And including this feature, because your project length was long, somebody else has already come with a better solution than you. And the technology has changed, because technology has not changed, but technology has brought those kinds of concepts. Your technology is just giving the route, whereas the new technology is also analyzing the traffic and telling that traffic is heavy, can you take the alternative routes? So your technology becomes outdated. So changing technologies need, so IT projects always should be flexible. If you're doing on some technology you're protecting, you have to keep on market watch. Is there a new product come? So what I am developing, is there a better solution or modified solution which has come? Any questions so far? Okay. Now till now, so these all things are basically the first part where I say you develop innovative solutions. Now, invention, your innovative solution, if you're not working for a company and you are a student, you can have a project where your innovative ideas can be developed into patent. And let me tell you, students, if you have patents, nobody can stop you from getting good jobs in any big companies. Right? There are many examples of that. Google nowadays says that I can hire a person, a 7 years, 8 years old guy also, who has a very good talent of coding. There is one person whose name I am not able to recall. He's a 12-year-old guy. I don't remember. I will try to search on the net. And this guy is a master in artificial intelligence. He's an Indian boy, but US resident. He was hired initially while he was studying by Google, no, first by IBM, in their artificial intelligence division. And his work was just to train, because he has developed himself. He's not trained, he's not engineer. And he was at that time getting 60 lakhs per month as a salary. Then Google asked him to come and he said, why should I join? Why am I going to gain? And they said, you just name the price and we are going to give it. Now he's working in Google. At the same time, he said, no, I want to, because parents want him to complete his study. So what I'm trying to tell is that he invented and patented something. And everybody will publish that. When you patent, when you go for patentship, the company will run after you. Everybody will come after you and say that, can you sell that to us? Or can we use the same technology and build product? Can you give us the copyright? Because you can do the patenting for 20 years. And after that, you have to renew it. So you say, okay, my idea and your idea should be novel for that. So patent can come where your invention, I'm talking, not innovation. Difference between invention, innovation. Innovation means existing product, modify, bring new feature and launch it. That is your first part of the project, which you're going to do, innovation. The next part of the project, which is a final project, is invention, where you're going to come up with a novel problem and problem for which nobody has thought any technology solution for that. And you develop that. And you can, I'll help you people in getting the patent and guide you also how to do that. Okay. So problem in the invention is solving. Every time when you're thinking of invention, think about that. Is it going to solve any issue? Societal issue, technological issues, economical issues, business issues, problems. Is it going to solve that? General utility. What is the need and utility of that particular invention? Is it useful? If it is not useful, why you should, right, use it? All those example of Thomas Alva Edison, this A telephone invention, TV invention was useful. That's why it is getting innovated, not invention. Invention is done already. But phone, they have getting innovated. Now we've reached to mobile phone. That is also not invention, it is innovation. So whether it is useful or not, whether the society need that, market need it or not, advantage of that invention for the people who want to take it, the best way of using the invention as well as the possible variety of that, and working of the invention along with the drawing, systematic, making an architecture of that. In the IT people, you have entire architect, all those solutions are there which you do, right? So whenever you develop any IT solution now, if it is invention, I'm talking now about invention. If you're coming up with a new solution and using some technology to develop a solution for that, a problem, and identifying a problem and coming out with a solution, you have to first do a study before developing. And what is that study? It is called business feasibility study. Because ultimately, what is your goal? When you're identifying a problem and a novel solution which is not available in the market, you also see whether companies are willing to buy or customers are willing to buy your product or not. Right? I'll show you some videos which I will show you that how this particular solution some IT students have developed, but still have not got any market for it. So market feasibility study is very, very important. That's why it is better that if management students and IT students, they come together and do. Management students can do all these kind of work. Like the students whom I teach mostly, they basically do this kind of study and they give us, like they do opportunity assessment plan, whether there is an opportunity for this particular product or services to be marketed. Is there a market for that? You have to describe the product and the service. What is the market need for that product and services? What are the specific aspect of that product? Are you, if it is a very new product or services, can it be copyrighted if it is an intellectual property? Can you patent it if it is a new process or if it is a new product? Or can you have a trademark, right, on that? The second is the assessment. When you're assessing the opportunity, you have to answer these questions. Which market it is best suitable for? Not all the market is suitable for the solution or the problem you have. Maybe you have that problem, other place doesn't have. India has so many problems. The same problem doesn't exist in the other country, right? So we have so many problems on the road, so many problems on everywhere. Do we have the same problem existing? So what problem you have in your area and the solution you are developing, you have to identify the market for that, right? So which is a market where your solution, what you're developing or the project you're developing is applicable? What is the size and the past trend of the market? Is there any similar product available in the market? What is the future growth? You have to see whether the future this will be growing, or is it like I'm otherwise why I should invest so much of time and amount in that? What's the social condition? Sometimes you develop a product which can actually hurt the society sentiment, especially India. When we have caste, we have religion, we are very sensitive towards those issues. Your solution might not be liked by certain community, right? So that's why you have to think about it. What is the profile of your customer? Who will be your customers? Okay. Now, this is what we use. This is our patent in our university. And we...
Ma'am,
Yeah.
ma'am, should I come in between with your permission?
Yeah, so.
So now students, what I see now is ma'am is talking and what I can see the faces of the students. Are you really understanding what madam is telling? Because tomorrow, let me make it very clear. This is, you have to take one project in each center. And you are supposed to give this project idea within the 3-4 days to madam. Are you clear? This is one session which has to be a bit of an interactive session, not a session as if you have gone to see a film and you are seeing a film for 2 hours. So student, my request is when madam finishes her slide, please ask her questions and clear your doubts, because each one of you are going to do project after this. Madam's evaluation is only project, which she is going to evaluate in the month of September, October. So let me tell you, and your maximum marks towards your certification is on project. While I have told you that tomorrow you will have a session on Anil's session where you will be given interviews, that whole marking system will have only 3-4 marks out of 100. But the project which you will be giving will be having 20 marks. So please understand, franchisee heads, second line, third line, fourth line. Everybody listen to this very carefully. Each and every center, the group, I told you already 16 groups, right, Sweta? 16 groups. 16 groups are supposed to do the project. So madam is just giving a session today, how a project is to be done. So don't listen to this as just you are seeing a film. Please ask question in the last 15 minutes to madam and get your doubts cleared. Or in between, you want to put your question in the chat box, please put it. Madam will answer. I'll request madam to answer. But don't take this session as a film. This is a session on project. You all have to do projects. Let me tell you, you will not get your certificate without submitting your project report. This is a mandatory thing, which is directly coming under madam. So please understand, where I don't play a role, MD does not play a role, DO does not play a role. It is madam who will decide your future, whether we should give you the certificate or not. Thank you, ma'am. Please carry on.
Okay, so this is a model. We have patented this model, but I'm just showing you with the permission from my university.
Oh.
But I'll just tell you, these are for actually the trainers, right? You have different courses running, and all these courses can actually, you should have interdisciplinary approach. That means you can't say that only Python students will do only Python related projects, or the students who are learning machine or AI, they will do something too. There are students who are learning AWS. So all of them, you can have actually a inter uh, group or intercourse related project. If you, my suggestion is, so faculty guidance is required a lot in this. What you have to do is, the project should have a higher order. For project is always a higher order learning or application based learning. It should be in a line also with the mission, because now let me tell you students that these projects are not, you are doing it for certificate, you are doing it to, you never know that in some of your projects can become a business. And regarding funds, there are ample of policies government has made to give you funds, especially for women, right? So you have Project Shakti, or there are different companies, even IBM, Google, give an opportunity. You come up with your project, you post it. I'll tell you in the site later or not on this session that what are the project idea if you have, and you know that this is the technology which can solve this and you can do it. IBM will tell you, even if they don't take you as an employee, they'll say, okay, you develop this project for us. And if that idea is really good, we will buy that project from you or will give you royalties. And that you're going to earn. There are so many freelancers who are earning in crores because of these projects. So what is a national mission we have? Like, for example, we have a national mission of self-reliant India, Atmanirbhar Bharat, go vocal for local. Come out with some projects like that, okay? And make a project which has local appeal. Don't make project looking at MNC companies. Their projects, their product, their services are catering to the universal need. You have to cater to the local need of your people. Then, inter and transdisciplinary, as I said, that if all the courses, one person can collaborate and then come out and they say that, okay, fine, in this, or maybe you as a team can sometimes sit and say that, can we have the IoT people developing and AI and IoT can come up with some solution, okay, to identify or to send something and develop solution to predict something. Then all these can ultimately result either in patent or in startup or in publication. The least is publication. All these I can help you. I can at least guide you and tell you your idea is really good. There's a market, there's a business is feasible. Whatever your idea, there's a market for that. So where you can go and get the fund to start a business on that. There are a lot of policies, friendly policy. Actually, this is the best time when the India has such a user, such a public friendly startup policies. Okay, a lot of my students do this. and they get a lot of funds, and they can start and they do everything, and they're very successful in that. Patentship, if you do, your life is made, right? More number of patent you have, you don't have to. You just sit at home and earn from the royalty. That is, the company will come after you. Ultimately, if this two is not happening, then publication. Your research work is going to give your visibility to you. It is going to upskill your profile. It is going to give you an advantage for your job. Ultimately, if your aim is to do a job, then it will tell you, the people, that, okay, I have done this research, I've done this project. Whatever project report you are creating, publish it in some journals. Okay, that also I can help you in this. So ultimately, what is the aim? The learning should shift outside the classroom. Education at the intersection of research and practice. That's the aim, right? Now, again, the project centric learning will help you in coming up with a lot of outcomes. You can improve, even while you're doing a project, you will develop a lot of skills, students. You will improve your writing skills because you're writing reports. You know how to write a project reports. It will increase your creativity. It will enhance your leadership, because in a team, when you're working, some of you may develop leadership skills. You will recognize, okay, I have a capability of influencing and directing people. You will improve your interpersonal skills, which is required today in an organization. They don't want a worker who can work in isolation. They want an employee who can work in a group and a team, especially in IT companies. They want you to work, you have to work in a team. And you say, no, I don't like that person, I don't want to work. All those things, it doesn't work. So this teamwork and the group and the project is going to help you in doing that. It will broaden your knowledge base apart from what your trainer is giving you. And it will also help you in understanding the deeper understanding of the concept which you are learning, right? So these are the kind of academic project which we give to our students, like major project, minor. You are also going to do minor and major. Minor is, you are going to do something which I will give it today only to you. And you can just do some already develop application, develop some small application on that. So you can use minor project. Major is some innovation or invention, right? So project also means writing project reports, gathering data, that's very important. Investigation, like for example, you have a problem, you investigate from the a local solution provider, that what solution, traditional solution is available, what can be done with the help of technology to enhance the solution and effectively manage that problem better than how it is happening now. Like I gave you the example of IBM and Tsunami. Then problem solving skills, it will help you in developing a problem solving skills, decision making, argument, all these real lifetime projects. So these are the very important things. Project should always be multidisciplinary. So this I'm just going to object. This evaluation of the project, I'll send it to the team thing. Okay, this all I will not. Let me some focus now on some of the minor project which you can do. Okay. So this is for AWS students who are doing AWS course. Okay. You can develop some example I'm giving. Your trainers can take that example. I will send a file also to Harinakshi ma'am. And in this, I will put all these kinds of things that what your students can do. For example, one of the solution is using AWS, you can deploy a window virtual machine. So this is one of the best idea to start experimenting you hands on AWS project. So what you can do is, your virtual machines are emulators of computer system. If you remember, I told you that virtualization, you all know about it. One computer, you can create a lot of virtual machine and dedicate it. Why don't you start with that project? One, I'm telling you, not if you don't like it, you can go further. There are many things which are available. So much virtual machine, a physical divided device can be converted into virtual machines. You can do that, give that to the students. Virtual machines can find application in many area. For example, it can be an efficiency in operation. So students will know how to deploy a particular hardware into virtualization, hypervisor, and all those things you can learn in that. You can deploy a window virtual machine through AWS. and learn how does it work. Okay, and in this way you will develop that skill of virtualization. Okay, window virtualization machine in AWS. You can use something called Amazon Lightsail. I'm just whatever I know, little bit here where there. I've heard. I've not done it, but then I've heard about these projects by some of my students who have done and told me that, ma'am, we have done this. So you can use Amazon Lightsail. Amazon Lightsail is a cloud platform that provides you with a required resource to build a website or an application. Okay, so you can do that, and it's a user interface is very straightforward to learn, and you can complete your project. This will also make you familiar with various features available in AWS. Okay, and this also will give you attainment of the concept called